Okay, so for previous video, we already learned how to find out the trigo values, okay, for the angle, not only from the first quadrant, it can be from second, third, and fourth quadrant. And then in reference book or maybe other website, you will see that they actually suggest a lot of different methods for you to find out the value of the trigo. As long as you found that method is suitable for you, then you can just use it. All right. Okay, so for where we stopped in the previous video is, okay, we can find the value of the trigo function with the angle in second, third, or fourth quadrant by using the acute angle. So the acute angle for me, I call it as basic angle lah. All right, but some of the book they will tell you that that is actually the reference angle. Okay, all right. So there are many ways. Okay, so the example that I show you here, right? Okay, the steps actually does not fulfill what I teach you yesterday. So maybe you can just ignore it. It is slightly different. All right. So if you want to learn out what I teach you yesterday, maybe you repeat the video again. Okay, for the previous one. Right. Okay. So but no matter how, you just need to draw the second, third, or fourth quadrant angle, right? Actually, we always refer to the acute angle one. All right, so the acute angle, we call it as reference angle, or maybe for me, I call it as basic angle. Okay, so for today's video, we are going to discuss how to find out the value for the trigo with negative angle. All right, so as what I told you in the previous video also, negative angle means that you measure the angle in the opposite direction, right, in the clockwise direction. Therefore, we call it as negative angle. And then when you want to find the value for negative angle, the process is slightly different, but you will see that the general idea and concept is still the same. Okay, so I will discuss a few examples with you later so that you understand how you get a value for the trigo with negative angle. So again, the steps that I show you later might not very similar with what they write out here. Okay, so this is one of the methods. It doesn't mean that it is wrong. It is still correct, just that it is some other methods, okay, suggested by some other reference book. Right. So for me, I was still using the idea that we learned in the previous video to find the value for negative angle. Okay, so let's have a look. So like yesterday, in the previous video, I also tried to actually draw, okay, a summary for the fourth quadrant, right? So for the previous video one, okay, the quadrant that we refer and the angle that I write out is all positive angle. Okay, so for today, we are going to start on negative angle. So for the negative angle, right, that means you are measuring your angle in the clockwise direction. Okay, so in this clockwise direction, and after that, you will see that when you want to measure it in clockwise direction, the quadrant, you see the quadrant here, the quadrant for positive value of trigo, it is still the same, like what we learned before. That means the first quadrant, it is still all positive. Second quadrant, sine positive. Third quadrant, tangent positive. And the last quadrant is cos positive. So all this doesn't change at all. They are still the same. Okay, just that when you want to measure the angle for clockwise direction or negative angle, generally you will start from this fourth quadrant first. So for the fourth quadrant, the angle that you see is negative theta. That means negative basic angle. Alright, for the third quadrant here is negative 180 minus theta, or you can write as negative pi minus theta in the unit of radian. Okay, and then for the second quadrant, the angle, the pattern of the angle is negative 180 plus theta, and then after that you can write as well for pi plus theta if let's say you're having the radian as unit. And then the last one, the first quadrant here is 360 minus theta, and then or you have 2 pi minus theta. Okay, so the triangle and everything is still the same. All right, so just that the way that we write out the angle are a bit different. Okay, so this one, fourth quadrant, is the first one that you should write, which is the negative theta. Theta again is the basic angle. All right, then this one is negative in front, and then 180 minus theta and so on. All right, so how are we going to use this, okay, to find out the answer? Okay, so as an example, so let's say we take one example here. Let's say I'm having the value of 6, negative 240. Let's say I want you to find the value for sine, negative 240. So maybe previously you memorized a formula or whatsoever, you can just go ahead and use it. All right, but for me, I want you to know all the basics. That's why I explained here for a few examples to let you see that how are you going to apply the concept correctly. Okay, so if I want to get sine, negative 240. Okay, so sine negative 240, yeah. So the negative 240, where is it? It should belong to this part, right? This second quadrant here. Because negative is negative in front of this is the negative in front. Then 240 is equals to 180 plus theta. So that means you can rewrite as 180 plus 60 degree. Okay, so end up you have negative 240. Okay, then to get the value for this question, okay, so you look for 60 because 60 is the basic angle. So you're looking for sine 60. So what's the value for sine 60 again? So the value for sine 60, if you according to the triangle that you draw, okay, you should get the value square root 3 over 2. So here I didn't show you how to draw the triangle. If you want, you draw it again and you refer it yourself. Right? So the value for sine 60 is square root 3 over 2. And then if you look at the quadrant, it belongs to the second quadrant for negative 240. So it belongs to second quadrant and you'll see that sine is positive in this quadrant. Therefore, it is plus square root 3 over 2. And therefore, this is your answer. Okay, so hopefully you roughly know the idea about it. Okay, let's say we try another one. How about if let's say I want you to find the value for cos. Okay, so let's say I want to get the value for cos negative 45. Okay, so if cos negative 45, first of all, you have to see which quadrant the angle belongs to. So negative 45, it belongs here, right? So negative is negative, no? So theta means 45, and the theta is the basic angle. So 45 is the basic angle. So what is the value for cos 45? Okay, so the value for cos 45 will be square root 2 over 2, or you can write as 1 over square root 2 also can. And then you look at the quadrant here. This is the fourth quadrant, and in the fourth quadrant, cos is positive. Therefore, it is a plus. And your final answer is square root 2 over 2. Okay, next one. How about if let's say I want you to find the value of, let's say, tangent. Okay, so if I want you to find the value for tangent, maybe negative 300. Okay, so how to get the value for tangent negative 300? Okay, so for tangent negative 300, it belongs to this quadrant. Okay, the first quadrant here, and you rewrite it. What do you get? You have tangent, then negative. Okay, so 300 you can write as 360 minus 60. So 360 minus 60 means 300. Round up. Therefore, when you want to refer to the answer, you should refer the value for tangent 60. So what's the value for tangent 60? Okay, so if you draw the triangle again to help you, tangent 60, you will get square root 3 over 1. Alright, so you write out the values. This is the value for tangent 60. And after that, you look for the quadrant. So this is in the first quadrant. In this first quadrant, is it tangent positive or negative? It is positive. Therefore, your answer is square root 3. Okay, so I hope that you roughly got the idea how we get the answer here. Okay, so let's say we try another. Okay, let's say I want you to find out the value for sine negative 135. Okay, so how to get the value for sine negative 135? Again, this is the quadrant, right? Negative 135. So when you rewrite your angle again, follow the pattern. It should be negative 180 minus 45. Then you will get negative 135. Okay, so when you want to get the value, you are looking for the value of sine 45. Okay, so what do you get for sine 45? So sine 45 should be square root 2 over 2, or you can write as 1 over square root 2 also can. Alright, so when you're having square root 2 over 2, right? Then now you want to decide whether is it positive or negative. So it belongs to this quadrant, or third quadrant. So in this quadrant, is it sine positive or negative? Sine should be negative, right? Therefore, you put the negative in front, and this is how you get the value for negative square root 2 over 2. Okay, alright. So this is actually how we get the answer. All right, so you might find that it is a bit complicated at first, but maybe after you try it for a few more times, then at least you roughly know the idea already, how to apply it. So to me, right, all these are very basic, something very basic. Okay, if you compare with maybe in the previous secondary school time, you use calculator purely to get the answer, but you actually don't know how you get all the answer. So now I hope that you roughly can, okay, the answer actually come from all the basic angle. All right, okay, and then of course for A level it will be a bit more complicated because of this negative value, the negative angle here. But again, when you see the negative angle, it is very easy also. You just need to remember that the negative means what? It means you are measuring your angle in the clockwise direction or maybe in the opposite direction. Okay, so you just need to remember that and also try to learn how to use all the idea and concept here correctly. Okay, right, so this is what we have for the negative angle. Right, okay, so I'll stop here for this video. Okay, and I hope that maybe in the future when you need to answer some certain question related to this one, at least you roughly know how to apply it.